Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one big, number 174. Can you believe it's been 174 weeks? Not me, but I'm thankful because you're here and this is awesome and this is my opportunity to talk to you about business and all sorts of incredible things. Gentlemen, here's the deal. Kelley has a question, first and foremost, that he needs your help with. Down in the comments, what is your trick? What is your secret to remembering to use the Tiege Hanley products or to stick with your routine? Do you have any secret? Do you do anything specific to help you sort of remember, like, oh, it's the morning, I need to wash my face, I need to put on my moisturizer, my anti-aging eye cream, my anti-aging super serum? Like, what is the trick? What is your like little secret? Mine, in my shower, I've got my wash, I've also got my exfoliating scrub. And then in my little drawer where I have like my toothbrush and my deodorant, I've got right next to that my eye cream. Now, I've been doing it so long, like it's like just part of my habit, it's part of my routine. And that's one of the things that research has shown that 90 days, it takes 90 days to form a new habit. All right, the first 30 days, like something's happening with your brain. The next 30 days, something else is happening. It's like creating new like pathways and channels. But at 90 days, this is when new habits are formed. And interesting side note, I've been doing a lot of research sort of on like morning routines and morning habits, because just yesterday actually I posted a video on my YouTube channel talking about millionaire morning routines, and it's pretty fascinating. Long story short, there was this article that I saw, and it was basically taking the research that this guy did. 5 years this dude researched millionaires, and what he found is that a lot of them do specific things every single day. One thing that like 50% of these millionaires that he studied did was get up 3 hours prior to their workday actually starting, which I thought was pretty fascinating. So if your workday starts at 9, you're getting up at 6, and if your workday starts at 8, you're getting up at 5, you get it, you understand. You know, and it makes sense, right? But he also talks about certain things that people do on a daily basis that sort of helps them, you know, get in the right mind space or head space, and ultimately it's about habits, it's about routines. And one of the things that he also talked about is the fact that it takes 90 days specifically to develop a new habit and a new routine. So you do something for 90 days, eventually at 90 days, then you don't have to think about it. And at this point, it's a habit. I just thought that was cool. So I did a video on it, guys, if you're interested, yesterday, the Alpha M YouTube channel. But it sort of goes to the Tiege Hanley thing, right? Where a lot of people, you know, it works if you work it. It's sort of like Alcoholics Anonymous. That's a saying that they have. The system, it works if you work it, but you got to work it. You got to do it consistently. It's not something where you can, like, one day you remember to use your eye cream, and then 3 days later, you're like, oh, I haven't used my eye cream. For me, it's routine, right? It's a habit. But what about you? Is there something that you do during the process of the adoption of the morning routine or the nighttime routine or whatever routine you're on? Is there something that you do specifically? Like me, like I said, it's in the shower, it's in my drawer, but it's part of my routine. If I don't put on moisturizer before I go out, like my face doesn't feel right. I don't look as good. I don't feel as good. It's just part of me. It's part of what I do. But what about you? Kelley wants to know. It's going to help us in some things that we'll talk about a little bit later. We also have some really cool things that we don't want to talk about yet, but it involves you and us and Chicago and an event. But just because I'm curious, down in the comments, if you are in Chicago or would get to Chicago, if Tiege Hanley had like something like a get-together kind of thing, how many of you would actually be interested in coming? Down in the comments, let me know. Also, let Kelley know what he wants to know about your routine. Now, speaking of comments, I would like to get to some of your incredible business questions, because this vlog is all about you. It's all about helping you on your entrepreneurial journey. It's also about us telling you and sort of pulling the curtains back on what it takes to start a business and the building of the brand Tiege Hanley. For those of you who are just joining us, I know that we've got some new people out there. Welcome. If you want to know the entire story of Tiege Hanley and everything we've gone through, not everything, but a lot of things, start at vlog 1, work your way forward. We are now, like I said, on 174. But we had some amazing business questions, but one business question talked a little bit about education. And that's the one that I'd like to get to first. Lolly has a question. He says, how relevant is school today? Do the subjects they are teaching you worth your time? Do you use the knowledge from high school times? So this was an education question. I thought it was about like college at first, and then I see that you're talking about high school. So yes, I use most everything, not everything. There's a lot of things that they teach you in high school that you're not going to use, but it's part of the curriculum. And so this doesn't mean to drop out of high school. Absolutely do not drop out of high school. Get your education. And then after that, you can do whatever you want to do, and we'll talk about college in a second. But high school is an opportunity. For me, you know what else? It helps with it. It helps you develop your social skills, honestly. High school for me was an amazing time to sort of, to learn how to communicate. I communicated and was friends with a lot of different types of people. And I would encourage each and every one of you to do your schoolwork, study, get good grades, but also to work on your people skills. Don't gossip, right? It's important to have a broad spectrum of friends. Say hello to the people who aren't popular, people that are more popular than you, or people that are into, mechanics or shop or artists. I mean, be social and interact and engage with people of all different backgrounds and interests. This is one of the most valuable tips and pieces of information that I can give you. It's what I did. I didn't know that I was doing it at the time, but I was friendly with everybody, and doing this, it really is amazing how much you use your people skills, and how ultimately I feel like you are going to be more successful if you are good at interacting, making small talk, conversation with people that you might not have a lot of things in common with, but you've got to develop them, and it definitely helps. Now, so high school, absolutely. I use a lot of things like math and stuff like that. It also teaches you how to think a little bit. But there are things that I don't use. Like I don't use a lot of the things that I learned in chemistry. But does it mean that I shouldn't have taken chemistry? No, you should experience everything that you possibly can. But now let's talk about this, right? That is my college diploma, which I'm very proud of, to be completely honest. I had to make the decision back in 1994 when I went to college, or when I graduated high school, what I was going to do with my life. I knew that I wanted to open a fitness center. I knew that I wanted to own a business, and so I knew that college was pretty much the path. Now, this was also a very different time than it is right now. The internet was like just kind of starting to a little bit be a thing, but there wasn't social media. There was none of this. I didn't have a cell phone until I graduated college in 1998. And so, there really were two options back when I went to high school. You were either going to not go to college and get like a job being like a laborer or doing something in sales or whatever. A lot of my friends went into the car business. They didn't want to go to college, or maybe they went to college for a year, figured out it wasn't for them, and so they ended up dropping out and being very successful in the automotive industry. It's something you can do without a college degree as long as you're good at sales. And once again, tying it back to the people skills, if you're good with people, that definitely is not going to hurt you. Anything you do in this life, it helps to have good interpersonal skills and communication abilities. But I was like, hey, I want to own a business. I want to learn how to run a business, and so I need a business degree. And so I went to the West Virginia University in Morgantown, West Virginia. I was there for 4 years. I took summer classes to get through in 4 years. A lot of my friends that went, they didn't have to pay for their university. I paid for a third of my college. One of the reasons why I went to West Virginia is because the price of out-of-state tuition was less expensive for me being from Philadelphia than any of the in-state tuition that basically the schools in Pennsylvania were more expensive even living in the state than me going out of state to West Virginia. Something really cool that Georgia does here in Georgia, I'm in Atlanta, is they've got something called the Hope Scholarship, where if you maintain a B average or a 3.0, the lottery money that they get from people playing like scratch-offs and lotteries they give you a scholarship. And so it's very competitive here in Georgia to get into college. But hey, if the government will pay for it, why not, I say. But nowadays things are different, right? You can start a business without having a degree. There's a lot more opportunity for entrepreneurs like never before, right? It's totally changed the game. Now, do I think college is necessary? No. Do I think it's a good idea? It's a good idea if you apply yourself and you don't just go and waste money, waste your time, party, and be irresponsible. One of the hardest things and reasons why so many people fail at college or don't, end up sticking it out is because they're not disciplined. They have all this freedom that they've never had in their life, right? They're not being watched by their parents, and they start going crazy. They start staying up really late. They go out, they're drinking, they're partying, they're just having an amazing time. If you do that, don't go. If you're not responsible, don't go. If that's you and you're thinking, I don't know, just work for a while, right? It doesn't mean that you've got to go to college right now. You could do it, later. Go out there in the real world and get a job and see how that works out. That might change your mind and give you some experience. There's nothing to say that you need to. And if you're going to squander the opportunity and the money, I say absolutely do not go. Now, if you want to do something specific, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be an accountant, if you want to be something that requires a degree, then of course you've got to go. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, no. Now, what I will say is if you are thinking about starting a business, I think a business degree is a great idea. It's going to give you a broad spectrum of skills, education. Mine is a degree of Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration. And yeah, it was cool, right? I thought it was good, but I was ready to get out. And so I was in and out in 4 years. I worked throughout college. I did not go out and party. I didn't join a fraternity or anything like that. I had something bigger that I wanted to do. I wanted to open a fitness center and moved to Atlanta. And then I started working, and that's where the education really started. College is good. It gives you a foundation. It proves that you can stick something out. And so if you're an employer, a lot of times you are looking for people that do have a degree because it does show some ability to stick something out and see it through. And, that is something. But ultimately, is it necessary? No. Is it a good idea? If you'll use it and if you'll apply yourself, yeah, I don't think it'll hurt. But it's definitely not needed or necessary in order to be successful as an entrepreneur. I think the internet has totally changed the game, but high school, definitely stay in school. Oh, and WVU, if you're watching, I would love to come and talk about business and entrepreneurship with your students. I went to you, so you're not calling. Anyway, the next question comes from Damian Barbie. He says, business question. When it comes to marketing your products, what would you say is something that separates the product, your company or company's products from the products you would normally find on the shelves of most retail stores? There's a lot of things that separate Tiege Hanley from what you find on store shelves. The quality of Tiege Hanley products are better than anything you're going to find, in my opinion, and the ingredients and all that stuff. It's not just my opinion. Better quality than pretty much every single thing you're going to find on the shelves at a store. We built the best products that we possibly could. Our chemist had one goal, and that was build us the best products in these categories. And so, cost wasn't a thing. We didn't give him constraints on it needs to do this, or we just said we did. We said it needs to do this and make us the best. And that was his job, and that's what he did. And when we took our formulas to the labs to sort of get a quote on, hey, what will it cost us to have these made? The lab said to us, do you know that your chemist built you a Ferrari formula? Meaning these are top of the line, amazing things. All of the botanicals and ingredients and actives are just amazing. And so Tiege Hanley, our products are better than the other stuff, just from a ingredient perspective and a performance perspective. The other thing, Tiege Hanley is a better value than anything else on the market. We are also a system like nothing else on the market. Actually, there are things on the market now that are copying Tiege Hanley, but that is beside the point. Our products are better, the quality higher, the price point for what you're getting is insane. And so price, quality, system, packaging is sexy as hell. It's got me, it's got you. That's the other thing. What separates us from the competition is your ass. Are you kidding me? You, and the fact that you're involved in this process and so like in the veins of Tiege Hanley, that makes it different than anything else. There's no other company on the market that can compete with Tiege Hanley because we got you, you got us, we got each other. And that's what makes us amazing. Great freaking question. Started a little slow, but then I understood. Exactly. I'm fired up. Next question comes from Zaid Awad. He says, what factors do you think entrepreneurs should consider when choosing the right location to start their business? Why did you move to Georgia to start Alpha M? Okay, we'll talk about that. I didn't move to Georgia to start Alpha M. I moved to start a fitness center. If it was about lower state taxes, why did you choose a state? Why didn't you choose a state with zero income / corporate tax? I'm not hating on Georgia, just wondering what brought you. So what brought me to Georgia is actually an interesting question. My best friend from high school, Terry, his father was dating a woman in Atlanta. And I didn't know where I wanted to go. When I was in college, I'm like, I'm moving somewhere. I don't want to go back to Philadelphia. I just didn't want to go back to Philadelphia. Philadelphia for me, because of my stepfathers and everything, and just, it had a lot of negativity around it. And so I wanted to go, I wanted to explore. And I was talking to him and he said, what do you want to do? And I'm like, oh, I want to start a gym. I want to start a fitness center. He goes, dude, it was right after the Olympics in 96. 96 is when the Olympics happened. He said he was dating a woman in Atlanta. And so he traveled here a lot. He said, man, if you want to move somewhere, go check out Atlanta. It's incredible. If you can't make a business work there, you can't make it work anywhere. Because a lot of people were moving, a lot of young people, they were into health, they were into fitness. And so my spring break, my senior year, I drove down here and was like, all right, looks good to me. And that was how I chose Georgia, because I wanted to start a fitness center, and that was the plan. And so I didn't think about taxes. I didn't think about anything like that. I knew the cost of living was low here, and that's one of the benefits and upsides to Atlanta and Georgia. Cost of living here versus the rest of the country in terms of like major metro areas, ridiculously affordable. What you get here for, in terms of house is amazing. Property taxes aren't amazing, but they aren't horrible. And so in terms of income tax, there are other states like Florida that doesn't have like a state income tax. Tennessee doesn't have a state income tax. Chattanooga is an amazing city, which is only like an hour and a half from here. But I love Atlanta, and so sometimes you got to just decide. Now, Tiege Hanley's in Chicago, right? You want to talk about a state that's expensive to do business in is Chicago. It's crazy. The state income tax in Chicago is astronomical. Like sales tax, astronomically high. California, super high. Why are people there? Because the talent pool also is very big. You also get some things when you're in some of these higher taxed areas. In terms of, there's more resources. There are more higher caliber potential employees. Like there are upsides to these areas. But yeah, there are definite downsides. And that's one of the reasons why you see a lot of people that have the corporations are set up and structured in Delaware, because Delaware has tax advantages. Do your research, figure out and explore. I mean, I would definitely do your due diligence. I'm in Atlanta running businesses because I'm in Atlanta, and I'm not moving to an area because I value quality of life more than I value money. And that's something that you might want to consider. If there's an area that you love, but yeah, the taxes are a little bit higher, you just gotta see. And for me, I love being here, and it's okay that I pay state income tax. Does it suck? Yes, but at the end of the day, I love it here, and you just ultimately have to decide what's going to be right for you. And it's a good problem to have, I guess. And if you're just starting out, and you're thinking about it strictly from a financial perspective, you definitely should explore your options, because there are better states that are more, business friendly than other states. And so there are definitely advantages to being certain areas over others. And so that's it. Amazing vlog, right? Did you dig it? Good vlog? Thumbs up. I feel good about it. Hopefully you do as well. Guys, if I didn't get to your business question down in the comments, let me know. Start it with business question. Next week, we'll get to more of your incredible business questions. Also, some more updates surrounding Tiege Hanley. Other than that, guys, we love you more than our double monk strap shoes, and we think you are super spectacular, incredible, and did we mention handsome?